feature match review. While we're in the YCS Bologna waiting room, or if Bologna has already passed, then there should be another video up. We're going to return to YCS Richmond and move on from Santoli right into the top 8 feature match. One of these players you most certainly already know. We'll get to him in a little bit, but this guy is supposed to be your antagonist for this feature match, and just because he doesn't make YouTube content doesn't mean he can't hold his own. Aditya Drop is on the world's points grind, and he's probably the best Unchained player in the United States. He started off his Duelist Nexus campaign by winning 2 regionals, and then going top 8 in essentially every other one. He made top 8 at both YCS Cancun, and is now currently top 8 in YCS Richmond. All with Unchained. He has certainly built up his reputation in only the last 4 months. Well, he's playing against PAK, and well, not much of an introduction needed here. A man who loves his curveballs, and he's gone ahead and done it again, bringing Infernoble here to Richmond. It's time that we become the problem.
Don't think people understand why this format is bad, and so I'm just gonna play the reason why this format is bad. Infernoble is one of that reasons. If you sit across a guy playing Infernobles and you lost dice roll, you're not like, man, this is so much fun. Like, you're sick. Like, you're like, damn, this game sucks. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be the problem until people actually believe me.
Infernoble, the deck, is probably one of the most difficult decks to pilot. Going first, the deck has literally the ability to play through every single hand trap known to man. And if he resolves full combo, it's putting the fun in functional FTK. Yeah, PAK's a menace. The winner of this match gets to go into top 4 to keep themselves in the tournament, a chance to win, and even a chance for just a prize card. And Aditya is currently on a hot streak in the hunt for potentially a YCS win to cap off his world points grind. So, going into game 1, Aditya's opening hand is Ash Blossom, Talons, Rhino Warrior, Aruha, and Tour Guide from the Underworld. Aditya normal summons Tour Guide. Effect Veiler. Aditya activates Talons. He draws 2 and passes turn. Nice deck. Alright, Aditya's got really unfortunate here. Yes, he needed to draw 1 single Speller Trap to make his entire hand playable, or Shavara, or any combination of cards where you can go set a card, activate a Ruha, pop it, and then attempt to combo from there with Muckraker of the Otherworld. Whole line that I'm not going to explain, but just figure it out yourselves. But as much as you can say that Aditya got unlucky, he later says that he actually fumbled this game. And here's his thought process.
I have to realize that I have to start with either Tour Guide or Fiendish Rhino Warrior. In this case, if I start with Tour Guide, I lose to 3 different hand traps, and 1 hand trap way too hard. I lose to Ash, Veiler, and Imperm, which I know PAK is on. So starting with Tour Guide was probably the worst play I could have made. Because if I get hand trapped at any point, and that I'm relying on tactics to draw instead of rip out of his hand. Also, again, if he imperms me, then I have no line of play after that. The tactics isn't even live. If I start with Rhino Warrior, this gives me an opportunity to play around Imperm and Veiler. Because if I go summon Rhino Warrior, effective Aruha to pop, I would send Shyama effect, pop Aruha. Aruha summons Charvara. I link those 2, make Yama. And now if he Veilers the Yama here, I at least end on Escape with Yama, and I can use the tactics to rip his hand.
This is objectively a better play to make than what we're all used to in just normal summon your starter and hope it goes through. So alright, PAK was able to win game 1 after dealing with a very weak opener from Aditya and some unfortunate things happening. Going second as well. Now going into game 2, Aditya has a real chance to put up, an actual board. Second chance to show what the Unchained deck can actually do with, a much cleaner combo line. And now we're going to go set 1, activate Shavara, pop the set, summon Shyama, link 2 into Yama, and this is where PAK uses his Effect Veiler. Aditya continues his combo. Shyama summoning itself from the graveyard by destroying Chamber. Chamber then summons the Rakea, which is a bit of an odd choice at first, as it doesn't do anything on its own. But until after the link summoning of Soul of Rage, normal summon Sarama comes down. And now Aditya's entire combo line shows its full purpose.
So at this point, because I've conserved my normal summon all the way to this point, I can put the Yama in grave and then summon Sarama so that if he has Nibiru at any point here, I can just chain Rakea, target the Sarama, and then Yama will still be able to trigger.
This is really nice foresight from Aditya, playing around a second effect Veiler, and now Nibiru the Primal Being. The Unchained combo really has a lot of nuance, with a bunch of trigger and quick effects that just allow your board to simply flow. It's one of the few decks that can actually play through a Nibiru instead of throwing up a negate within the first 5 summons. Aditya continues now with the effect of Sarama targeting Chamber and destroying his Soul of Rage. Now using the effect of Soul of Rage to add back Shavara to the hand. And then he beelines for just a single Wave King and a Chamber set. Why this board over something much bigger?
Reasons because he's trying to basically play around talent, so he added back Shavara to his hand off of Rage. So in this essentially allows him to like mitigate the talents and thrusts as best as he could.
One is so that you leave your Rage in graveyard so they can't tactics it in the first place. You make your first interaction as your Caesar. If they have tactics for it, you just chain Shavara and pop your Caesar itself. And so they just take a Shavara to their board.
I guess he doesn't really know what kind of list I'm on. I didn't play any board breakers at all. I was on full hand traps, like just full send all hand traps. But this is like pretty much like the board that you would make when you want to like just play around board breakers pretty much.
That's the best Unchained player in the US going through his opening combo. He could have sliced through 2 hand traps easily. So PAK draws for turn. I'm not going to say what his opening hand is because, look, that would ruin some of the fun. Come on. But what isn't fun for Aditya is being met with a Kashtira Fenrir as the first action. Fenrir, if the summon sticks, can simply add another copy of itself. So in that event, if Aditya somehow removed it, PAK would just summon the new copy, no problem. So the activation of Chamber for Soul of Rage is basically forced. Aditya then links away the Fenrir with the effect of Soul of Rage to make SP Little Knight to try and squeak out another interruption. However, the next play from PAK just feels even worse here for Aditya. PAK just slaps down another Fenrir. He had both of his Fenrirs in his hand anyways. This suddenly gets really bad for Aditya. He had put Wave King in defense position to try and play around Lightning Storm. And look, I'd rather play around that card than having 2 Fenrirs in my opponent's opening hand when I didn't see Fenrir in game 1. But now the Fenrir has the possibility of dealing with both threats on the field of Aditya. He hates it, but he has to use his Ghost Mortar from the hand to deal with the Fenrir.
I think if he didn't Mourner the second Fenrir, he actually lost. I think he like played really well in this spot. I think that like having the second Fenrir would actually like be super winning in this position. Cause like look, if he didn't have a Mourner in this spot, my Fenrir pretty much deals with both Little Knight and Caesar, and I would actually be able to full combo in mid phase 2.
Next, PAK thinks a little bit before moving to the battle phase to remove the SP Little Knight. It's a bold play considering he could have attacked over the much more threatening looking Wave King.
And then Little Knight hitting my normal summon is like really important. It's also like a link 2 that for next turn for him as well. So like any monster literally makes the link 3 and then it kills me. So I just wanted to, the Caesar is not bad, but I knew that I can out the Caesar with my own Little Knight and then use the Little Knight to make an Assault Day after.
Now PAK has a really clean play. He normal summons Ricardetto and then instantly makes Relinquish Anima. But why? Of course, SP Little Knight is able to banish the Wave High King Caesar. SP is such a format defining card, and it's even better for Infernoble because it just happens to be a warrior, and that makes us sold. However, Shavara does get to set Escape from the deck. It's still difficult to break this board, as also using your normal summon in Infernoble is typically a very costly resource. PAK continues with Ricardetto's Grave effect, summoning Magus from the hand, and bang, 2 warriors make us sold. However, Magus doesn't have enough fire warriors in the graveyard to shuffle back and garner a draw. So Aditya gets to use his final interruption to get out Shavara, using Yama in the graveyard to bring out Rakea, and summoning the big dude from the deck with the Destroyed Escapes effect. Abominable Unchained Soul discards the last card in Aditya's hand to destroy the Assault. Just one final layer of interruption. If the cards in the hand of PAK were just a little bit more quality, he might have actually had a chance to just actually break the board with the so-called going first deck. But sometimes though, You just can't have everything. And, well, that's going second in Yu-Gi-Oh! So look, I ain't paid enough for a full breakdown of Game 3, Patreon in the description, but PAK's hand looks great with Rhoda, Terraforming, original Sinful Spoils, but after eating 2 hand traps quickly from Aditya, it takes a Gear Freed ripped from the top of the deck to make his Appaloosa board look anything realistic.
So like the issue was in the past when I was testing the deck, what I would do is I would use the Sinful Snake Eye to summon Fireflint, then use Fireflint to tag out into a Ricardetto in my hand, right? Like I have Ricardetto in my hand, so I should be able to summon that straight from my hand there, and then just literally full combo, pretty much.
You might know every single combo line in Infernoble, but are you ready for the combo line where you draw both the 1-ofs in your 44-card deck? Yeah, I didn't really think so either. Very fortunately here for PAK, Aditya's hand was, well, what was the last card in your hand in this situation?
I drew a second Mourner.
Oh, and you had Aruha as the other card.
Yes, my hand was Mourner, Aruha, Rakea, and Abomination's Prison.
And while Aditya gave it his best shot, he simply just didn't have the cards to take advantage of PAK's misplay. So PAK moves on to top 4, where he'd miss out on his chance to win a YCS because...
But yeah, that Gear Free draw was actually saving grace. And I got punished for it in top 4 because I played against another Unchained player, and I drew nothing. So it literally just... you got karma.
But he got that prize card anyways. Takeaways! Look through your games and see how you actually could have played better. Maybe you could have outplayed your opponent. Maybe there was the right line. Think, and let's all get to be better Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Or just enjoy watching feature matches, like me. On that note, folks, peace. And so I need to give a quick shout out to Aditya Drop for accepting the interview on very short notice, and of course, PAK. I wasn't expecting to be on stream for that one, but here we go. I think this was probably the best part from this stream. Check this one out.
Billy Break has like this interview on Nerdy Jersey where he talks about where like the difference between like a lot of like players, like the good ones and the bad one, is that like specifically himself, he's like referring to himself, is that when he like makes a mistake, he doesn't like dwell on it. Like he, like, you know, like, because I caught this misplay like after the match, so like it is what it is. But I knew that something was wrong. Like this end board didn't feel right to me. But it was more of the fact that like if you messed up, like instead of focusing on like you messing up and like using your energy there, just keep focusing on like what you can control now that you're here. And that's kind of like how I thought about it when I was in this position. I was like, yeah, like I pretty much just effed up, but might as well, I have to just try my best at this point.